Loma Linda, California, where greater LA touches the desert, where the smog ends and the air clears. Here, the human population is doubling every single year. Steadily creeping into a place where rattlesnakes have made their homes for millions of years, the two collide with dramatic results. This is the front line, home of the VenomER. Loma Linda University Medical Center may look like a typical hospital, but it's more than that. It's the center of a huge effort to combat the power of venom. Ralph Prado may look like a normal ER outpatient, but he's unique. A snake bite pushed him near to death, yet he still walked away.
Come on back, got this bed.
Luckily, Loma Linda is also the workplace of Dr. Sean Bush.
Yeah, that looks remarkably
He's the nation's
well.
foremost expert in snakebite treatment. A professor taking his knowledge into the front line. An expert recognized at the highest level.
To get all my...
Many people loathe snakes, but to Ralph, they're fascinating. And around here, it's all too easy to bring a snake from the wild into your house. But it's a risky idea. Ralph's story starts on an important day for the VenomER team.
The snake's out!
The day he first met Sean. The rattlesnake held on for 15 seconds of pure agony. No one had dealt with a bite quite like this one.
Stay with us, buddy.
How's he doing back there?
Still combative, and I'm still...
The ambulance is rushing for the ER at Loma Linda. The crew suspect the bite is so severe, it may be from an exotic foreign snake. Ralph's body is being swamped by the venom. Now, the VenomER team is called into action. Sean Bush's expertise is on call 24 hours a day. He needs information on the bite and the snake from Dr. Dave Riley.
He's actually having some problems. He's gotten the initial crowfab, but we've had problems with bleeding. He was also a difficult intubation. The paramedics tried in the field, but had some difficulty, so we were able to get the tube in here. However, like I said, he's having some bleeding from the sites where we put the lines in. He's also fighting with us a lot, so we had to restrain him to keep him from pulling all the tubes out.
Oh, geez. Well, how many vials of crowfab has he gotten?
He got the initial 6, and we're hanging another 6 right now.
All right, well, let's go take a look, see how he's doing. Hey, Ralph? There's some question about the kind of snake that bit you. Was it the rattlesnake? For sure, it wasn't an exotic or anything. It was a rattlesnake, for sure. Okay.
We need to check
I think
that.
it's pretty definitive. Take a look here. You can see he's oozing from the fang marks here. He's got a lot of swelling in the hand, going up the arm. Still twitching all over. Can you see these fasciculations here?
Everywhere. Throughout his legs.
He's got them on his legs. They just look like worm-like movements underneath the skin there. This is
The awful truth dawns.
bad. This guy's really sick. This is the worst snake bite I've ever seen.
Wow.
We gotta get really aggressive with the antivenom though. I'm talking like...
How much? What's the limit on that one?
There's no limit. I mean, usually a dozen vials are good, but, you know, I think with this guy, since he's like the worst I've seen, 2 dozen's a good start. So I'd get that up here. In fact, if there's any way I can expedite that, I'll do it. If they want to send the vials up and I'll hand mix it myself.
John Bush is at the center of a team of 500 paramedics and pilots, scientists and doctors. They confront the problem, deal with the dangers, and try to understand this front line. They're faced with 6 different rattlesnakes, and each bite is complex and unpredictable. Every case requires a unique response. Mojave rattlesnakes have neurotoxins that attack nerves, preventing breathing. Southern Pacific rattlesnake venom can rupture muscles and destroy the blood's clotting agents. Sidewinders are supposedly less dangerous, but can still incapacitate a 200-pound man. Diamondbacks live within sight of the hospital itself. Sean needs to know when these snakes are likely to strike. So Deputy Sheriff Mike Cardwell feeds data on the Mojave rattlesnakes in the desert. And biologist Eric Dugan is striving to predict future collisions as snakes and people compete for space. We know so little that the field team make new discoveries every week. Throughout the summer snakebite season, emergency crews will rush victims to the ER in the shortest possible time. Part of the team at the Mojave Air Base, 90 miles north of the hospital, is Paul Romero, an international endurance athlete and paramedic.
Still 15?
This huge endeavor has been created to confront a split-second event designed by nature to kill. Ralph's body is now a battleground between the snake's venom and the ER's anti-venom. Sean needs both a positive ID of the snake and more anti-venom. There's a real danger Loma Linda will run out. So Tucson Poison Control Center is his first call.
Well, I've got a really sick snakebite patient here, and he's just sucking up all the anti-venom we have. I'm wondering how your supplies are holding up. Well, that's great. I was wondering if we could borrow a few vials. Oh, that would be awesome. All right. All right, thanks a lot. Okay, bye. Azure, can you get me San Diego Poison Control, please?
At last, a deputy brings in the body of the snake that bit Ralph. A positive ID is vital for Sean's treatment, but this is not good news.
Southern Pacific rattlesnake. I think this is probably more dangerous than the Mojave rattlesnake.
Sean is a snake enthusiast. He doesn't like it when a snake has to die, and he's amazed at the power of their venom.
You can see the neurotoxins at work, and you can see the factors that cause bleeding, you can see the factors that cause swelling. Snake bites usually either cause neurotoxicity or bleeding and swelling, but he's got it all. That's from the Southern Pacific rattlesnake.
Right now, it may kill Ralph.
Yeah, this is definitely the sickest snake bite I've ever seen. It's getting worse and worse, huh?
This reaction is off the scale, but every human victim has a different metabolism and reaction to the venom. Every bite is unpredictable, and every bite is different, because venom will exploit whatever weakness it encounters. In the face of this, Sean has to decide how to save Ralph's life. At the hospital, he has state-of-the-art support, and the lab results show that Ralph's body is disintegrating. The venom is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
This is Ralph's CK, and it's fluctuating all over the place. You can see there. CK is a molecule that's inside the muscle cell, and as the muscle cells are destroyed and they rupture, they leak out into the bloodstream, and then this floods the kidney, and it clogs up the kidney. So we have to keep lots of fluids going so that we keep those kidneys flushed. Otherwise, he'll have kidney failure, and he can die from that. But you can see here, first of all, he's kind of getting overwhelmed with CK, and then we give him lots of fluids. His CK comes back down, but then more destruction is happening in the muscles. He's leaking more contents, and he's at a peak right now, so we're going to have to give him more fluids and keep treating him aggressively.
We're lucky he got him here, because he almost, because of his airway, almost went to residence community.
You just took one bite, right?
Yeah, just the only spot we could see was one puncture wound on his hand.
Look at that hand, that other hand.
The other hand's quite swollen.
Heavy bleeding is one of the common effects of Southern Pacific rattlesnake bites. Ralph's blood is not clotting because this venom is destroying the very ingredients the blood needs to clot, the platelets.
We're still having a lot of trouble getting his platelets to normalize. We're going to have to accomplish that by giving him lots of anti-venom and transfuse them some platelets. And when someone has low platelets, it means that they're at risk for bleeding, spontaneous bleeding, and he's bleeding all over. So what we need to do is we need to get this up into this range, and then he'll do better.
The treatment kicks into overdrive. To understand snake bites, Sean's team has to understand the snakes. See how tracking snakes in the wild can help Sean win the battles in the hospital when VenomER returns on Animal Planet. To save snakebite victims in Loma Linda's VenomER, Dr. Sean Bush needs to understand the snakes. His medical training combines with the investigative skills of Deputy Chief Mike Cardwell. By planting tiny radio transmitters in wild snakes, Mike tracks their activity. His study area is empty desert, but people are moving in. And knowing more about the snakes will help to predict when bites will occur. Mike's passion spans 40 years. He was a biologist before he was a cop.
In the late 60s, I realized there were a lot of unemployed biologists around. And at about that time, I was involved in search and rescue as a volunteer with the Sheriff's Department, and spent the next 31 years as a deputy sheriff. But I never lost my interest in venomous animals and animals that people seem to be just so unreasonably fearful of.
The deputy met the doctor after the death of a local PE teacher, Rick Gabrielson, supposedly caused by a Mojave rattlesnake bite. Sean and Mike weren't convinced, but realized how little is known about these extraordinary creatures. Mike works alone, with just his knowledge and a cell phone for backup. He doesn't fear, but respects the snakes. He'll be very careful where he steps. His hours of tracking have built a record of snake life.
Well, we're close to the center of the study site. There's some equipment that's necessary to find these snakes and record the data. And a little radio receiver that allows us to find these things. The snakes that are part of the study have little transmitters surgically implanted in their abdomens. The key to it is this antenna. Let me draw you a little diagram here. The antenna is kind of H-shaped, and if the front of the antenna is this way, it receives a nice strong signal from the front, a little bit of signal from the back, and almost no signal 90 degrees left or right. So by moving this antenna around, we can tell by the strength of the signal in the receiver which way we have to go to find the snake.
Each snake has a unique frequency. The signal strength shows whether it's above or below ground. The beep rate, how active it is.
Well, we've got 11 snakes telemetered out here. This is a male that we have 2 years worth of data on. Oh, wow. He's moved a long way since last night. He's east of us here. Last night he was down in a wash several hundred meters away. So let's go see what he's doing.
Sandy desert is perfect for snakes. There's plenty of food, small mammals and reptiles that also dig burrows, which the snakes use to gain shelter from the heat of the sun. Rattlesnakes are ambushers. Camouflage makes them invisible to the eye. But Mike's snakes are revealed by the radio.
We're getting close here. We have to watch where we step. There he is, right at the base of that bush, coiled in a nice pancake coil, facing off to the west.
This is an alert snake, waiting and ready to strike in a split second.
These guys spend a lot of their time coiled like that. They're hard to see. They won't move or rattle, usually until you almost touch them.
That's when the accidents happen. But Mike can walk across the desert, protected by his years of knowledge. Snakes strike fast, but have a range under 3 feet.
Let's see.
Outside that strike zone, Mike is perfectly safe.
Here she is.
Across the summer snake season, Mike's job is to understand the behavior of the snakes in his group. Mojave venom is dangerous, but the snake itself is small, less than 3 feet long, and weighing just 10 ounces. Yet Mojave rattlesnakes have a terrible reputation for attacking people. Just don't look for proof in the 1,200 encounters by Mike's team.
These snakes never show any aggression to us. They usually sit still. They'll occasionally rattle or crawl away. Sometimes, if they're out foraging around, they'll crawl over and sniff around our equipment or sniff our feet, but never showing any aggression. It's just hard to imagine an animal that lives its life an inch off the ground picking a fight with something that's 60 or 70 inches tall. It's hard to imagine how they got that kind of reputation.
Mike's efforts will build our knowledge of snakes and ultimately help Sean save their victims. All his efforts are focused on Ralph Prado in his 70th hour of intensive care.
You kind of get lulled into complacency. Every now and then you see a snake bite and it's not that bad, and then you see someone like this and it's just horrifying. Probably the worst one we've seen here, ever. He's got ecchymosis all the way down into here. Can you see that bruising? Lots of bruising all the way from here. He's got a good pulse here. These are blebs, ecchymotic blebs. This bruising is just remarkable. So after a whopping dose of anti-venom and quite a few transfusions, I think he's finally stabilized enough to go down to radiology and get a CAT scan of his brain. And we're really worried about what's going on in his brain because he's been under a lot of sedation, so it's hard to tell how he's doing neurologically. The CAT scan will help us to know if he's bleeding in his brain or not. And certainly, if he's bleeding in his brain, that would definitely be catastrophic. All right, so I'm looking at a CT right now. And a CT scan takes cross-sectional images through the brain. This is his brain right here. And I'm just scanning through the images to make sure that there's no blood. It's really the only way we can tell his neurological function because he's sedated and on a ventilator, so it's looking great. I don't see any blood in here, but the scan looks good. That's encouraging. We're going to keep treating him, and hopefully he'll recover soon.
Sean has given Ralph 5 times the normal dose of Crofab antivenom. He's off the critical list now, but it'll be a week before he leaves the intensive care ward.
We're going to try to take that tube out today.
The region has thousands of snakes, but people are moving into snake territory. Loma Linda receives its latest victim as the two collide when VenomER returns, only on Animal Planet. In Southern California, The desert is home to thousands of snakes, but people are starting to move into the wilderness. New housing areas are being built, and here at Silver Lakes, a gas pipeline across the desert is being renovated by Ed Marshall and his crew. It's early in the year, and a cold wind is blowing across the desert. The snakes are emerging from their winter dormancy, searching for prey, warmth, and shelter. Now, a moment's lapse can be very dangerous.
BP 80 over 60, diaphoretic. Sounds sick. You got crofab? You don't have any crofab. You have no antivim at all. Well, you definitely need to transport him to us then, huh? All right, send him by air. We'll be mixing it up. I'll meet him down at the ER. Thank you, bye.
Low blood pressure is a major concern, and there's no swelling around the bite site. An early clue that it's a neurotoxic Mojave rattlesnake bite. Flying conditions are poor. It will be a race against time.
Mercy Air 2, we have you prepared to land on the north pad then.
Ed's blood pressure is dangerously low. He must be delivered to the ER as quickly as possible. The flight has taken 30 minutes, and now the serious business can start. The nurses are out on the pad as soon as the rotors stop, and the vital information is transferred from flight crew to the ER team.
Hey, Katrina. Hi there, sir. I'm Dr. Bush. We're going to take care of you.
The bite is to his right index finger. It is quite painful, however, we've been unable to medicate him, unfortunately,
Okay.
due to his blood pressure problems. He is entirely dopamine dependent. Even for 1 minute off of it, his blood pressure will go back down to 60. Hand's not as swollen as I would have expected, but he said it was a Mojave green that bit him.
Okay.
He did get the whole 4 vials of crofab.
4.
Thankfully, the medics were able to start Ed's treatment en route.
It's not that swollen, but it's very painful, huh? None of this hurts.
No. Right? Right there.
Right here starts to hurt.
We're ready to rock and roll.
Okay, let's just check it. Tell me when it starts to hurt. Let's put your hand up a second. Her right here?
Yeah.
Okay, her right here?
A little bit.
And that's his blood
Yeah,
pressure.
the first blood pressure, 104/48.
That's better.
I dropped my phone on the ground and I bent down to pick it up. There was a snake right there.
You didn't see the snake before you got... I'm gonna check your feet, all right? Got you all wrapped up in here. Push down. Very good. Push down. Perfect. Looks neurologically intact.
PT is 13, INR is 1.20, and his PTT is 30.6.
Did they send labs over here?
Yeah,
They
the
did.
coax are normal.
I got,
PT, INR, D-dimer.
I expect that, too, you know.
The ER is alien territory for Ed, but at least a friend has rushed in to join him, Rich Davis.
Got a phone call that my friend Ed got a snake bite, and I was working up in Big Bear. Came down here right away and just found out what the doctors had to say. We live up in the desert where it gets real hot, and this time of year the snakes usually are coming out, you know, and it's real dry, not much rain, so they're everywhere. You know, you don't see them very often, but when you do, they're usually the Mojave green. Most of the time they stay away from people, but at this time we're working in a kind of a desolate area, and maybe possible with all the commotion with the heavy equipment and the big trucks and the actual digging up of the earth, you know, because we're digging anywhere from 3 feet to 4 feet down. All the vibration, you know, could be causing, you know, the animals to come out of the burrows.
You ever been bitten by a snake before, venomous snake before? But did you have chest tightness or chest pain or
My
anything?
throat.
Mojave venom targets the nerves. Right now, it's searching for a weakness in Ed's body.
I am now.
This is not how you normally speak then?
No.
Okay. Did you look in his mouth already?
Not yet.
Take a look in his mouth, see how it looks.
Whoa.
Yeah. The uvula is swollen and red.
Let me take a look.
Right there.
Okay, yeah, we definitely got some angioedema up there.
The venom is attacking his airway.
swelling up
If
there in
that
your
shuts
throat.
down, it's like being strangled from the inside.
That's his last pressure. Just go ahead and give him 2 right now.
Give it to him.
Yeah. Now we're giving you more of the anti-venom here right now. In fact, you can increase the rate now, right?
Yeah, getting ready to.
All right.
I want to make sure it gets the full 10.
Perfect. This is classic Mojave rattlesnake envenomation syndrome. I mean, he doesn't have much swelling, but he's got the low blood pressure, and that's his airway problems. That's classic. What's this on your elbow here?
They're getting the symptoms under control. Now it's a slow, careful process.
Affects that too, you know.
Like it or not, Ed's due for more time in the hospital, kept under constant surveillance as the anti-venom does its work. But after a night of treatment, the morning brings blessed relief.
All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Morning. I got my, how you doing this morning?
Yeah.
You look a lot better today, huh?
Feel a lot better.
Good, good. How's the hand? You able to shake my hand with it? Good, okay, excellent. You got a good grip there. How do you do, Ben?
He's doing very good. He's receiving his dose of Crofab.
Got his last dose going in right now?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. How do you feel? You just feel
Like going home.
like going home. We're gonna get you this last dose in and probably let you go soon after that. How's that sound?
All right.
All right. How are his fluids? You give him a lot of fluids?
We're giving him fluids. IV is going to 100 cc's an hour. Hasn't had an appetite to want to eat any solids right at this point here. It just basically wants to go home whenever.
Understandably. Can you bend that finger a little more?
That's about all.
Still kind of a little stiff in the finger, but your hand's better, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see where you're tender here. You're tender up here. Does it hurt down here? Not really hurting anywhere up here, huh?
Right there it starts.
Still hurts right where I drew the line yesterday, huh? All right. Shake your finger one more time. Good refill. All right. You need to drink lots of fluids for the next few days. Some of the contents of your muscle cells have leaked out into your bloodstream. Now those are flushing on through because I gave you a lot of fluids yesterday, but they can clog up your kidneys, and you can have problems with that.
Okay.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is we're going to get this anti-venom in. I'm going to write your discharge paperwork up, and when you're ready to go after this anti-venom, we'll let you go. All right, sir?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
When it's snake versus human, it's a high-tech business, covering 40,000 square miles of snake country. Meet the helicopter crews who fly the desert danger zone when VenomER returns, only on Animal Planet. For the Mercy Air crew based at Mojave, rescues can be fast and furious. Fitness is key. And the fittest man around here is Paul Romero, an internationally renowned endurance athlete and flight paramedic. For him, this is the perfect job. When a call comes in, the team scrambles.
work is just an absolute blast. It's become an extension of my lifestyle. Being a part of a flight crew and working with the team that I work with at NBR. And plain and simple, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm an adrenaline junkie when I'm off work, when I'm at work. It's my lifestyle. And so working with the flight crew and doing flight paramedic work is fascinating, really fascinating. Every single day is something different without fail.
From 10 different bases in the area, the helicopter crews fly directly to emergencies and provide the life-saving link between the small hospitals and the VenomER in Loma Linda. Paul and his crew fly 20,000 miles a year and have to handle every type of emergency that comes to them. But being based out in the desert front line, they are deep in snakebite territory.
This is the Mojave Green battlers up here, and that's serious business. That's deadly, deadly business. For a snakebite victim, we just provide a super, super fast transport, and we're also one of the first persons in the chain of care for that person. Time is really crucial when it comes to snakebite victims.
Paul's efforts are all in the cause of saving lives, and that makes the effort worthwhile.
There's a lot of risk to what we do, but man, to see some of the rewards and some of the payoff that we have, it's fascinating. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
And when a patient arrives on the helipad at Loma Linda, there's another team ready for action. The helicopter crew hands off to Brandy Percival, a registered nurse on the ER team. Brandy's role is to mix and administer both the pain medicine and the antivenom. Treatment may take several days, so the ER team works long shifts, seeing their patients through the process or handing them on to the next stage.
Yeah, okay. Because that's when we get patients with snake bites, they come from the field and they come from other facilities that are transferring to us. But when there are the ones from scene, it takes them about a half an hour. We're already mixing the drugs. We know that they're coming in. What's their number? Hang on just a second.
Snakes are definitely part of the scene here.
The reason I didn't go into the room where the snake was actually because I was a little busy with other patient care situations and directing traffic for ambulances. But I've been in there before, and I try to avoid live snakes anytime that I can, unless Dr. Bush is holding them. Otherwise, not within 10 feet. No, nada.
The team all have personal challenges to face. Across the summer, Brandy will be training outside the ER, closer to those snakes. They're so widespread, even suburbs are now in snake territory. The team is involved in backyard rescues. This time, Sergeant Paul Howe is at the controls with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Air Division.
My first snakebite victim was down in the Chino Hills area, which is a new developed area, a lot of hills, a lot of new homes. And it was a child. The snake was in the garage. The call came in as a snakebite victim, and it happens to be the victim's home was near a golf course at this time. They picked the victim up in an ambulance and drove him to the helicopter. And from there, we took a short flight by helicopter from Chino Valley to Loma Linda University Medical Center.
Hey, buddy, can I take a look at your hand?
It's a frightening experience for 4-year-old Niall Ahmed.
He was in the garage, and he picked it up. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah?
And it's right there.
What kind of snake was it?
It's a Southern Pacific rattlesnake.
Niall's father killed the snake and brought it in to help with the diagnosis.
Niall, does it hurt up in here? No? Sometimes people, it's going to track up the lymphatics. So it may hurt up in his underarm here. You're giving him the Crofab, right?
Good boy.
And you're starting the test dose. And so you got to mark at 4:30 when is that what time the Crofab starts?
Yes.
It's progressed past the line. Okay. We're giving this medicine, and it's our hope that the medicine will stop it from progressing like that. See, it's going up his arm. Okay. And I'd like to stop it as quick as possible, but you can only give this medicine so fast.
Right.
One thing that's very encouraging is he doesn't have any other symptoms other than just the swelling.
Right. Okay, so you guys look for other symptoms like
muscle twitching, like vomiting, like difficulty breathing, chest pain. He doesn't have any of that.
So what happened? What was he doing?
You know, well, he was with me in the garage. We were coming in. He picked it up and just immediately threw it. I didn't see it. He said, "Oh, what is this?" and picked it up and threw it. And then all of a sudden he started screaming that something hit.
Can I look at your hands? It hurts, I'm sure.
Great.
I'm just gonna peek on here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay.
It's all right.
We'll look closer at it later on when he...
The hospital labs swing into action, tracking the venom effects, and Sean calms Niall enough to refine his treatment.
Can you open his thumb up a little bit? No? Okay. He's got a little swelling on here. You see, he's already starting to get a little bruising down there.
Okay.
And this is where it progressed, like, over the course of about an hour.
Okay.
See, I don't think he's trying to twitch his thumb. I think it's twitching from the venom.
But the CroFab is beginning to work on the venom.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Increase the rate to 500 cc's an hour for the last 150 cc's. He's tolerating this fine. It's just bothering me to see it just progress right in front of my eyes.
Niall's home in Chino Hills is right on the snake front line.
We studied snakes back there behind Chino Hills. It's one of the most densely populated areas in Southern California.
The anti-venom is starting its work, but Niall will be monitored right through the night. Join the doctor's debrief when VenomER returns on Animal Planet. Four-year-old snakebite victim Niall Ahmed has been treated through the night. It's time for a progress report from Dr. Tae Kim.
All right, so how did he do last night? Did you get a lot of calls?
No, actually, he did all right. It sounds like the swelling progressed a little bit. Akil Khan called me this morning and said that the edema was up to the elbow. So I ordered another 2 vials of CroFab at the time they gave it to him, and he's been doing all right since.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good.
His coags came back from this morning, too, and they look like they haven't changed at all.
All his other labs look okay?
Yeah, fibrinogen, PT, PTT, everything looks fine, so.
Well, let's scoot and take a look at it. Cool. See how your hand's looking today. It did kind of just barely.
Yeah, barely just crossed over, yeah.
And he got another couple of vials, and he's got a good range of motion there.
And the swelling has gone down from severely, yeah.
Squeeze my finger.
Squeeze कर दो उनकी finger. नहीं कर सकते, try it.
That's a good squeeze.
Wow.
That's good. That's outstanding. I anticipate 100% full recovery, and I think we're gonna discharge him right now.
Excellent. Oh, thank God. Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Within 24 hours, Niall Ahmed is going home. But his story reflects an increasing pressure on the team. People just don't know enough about snakes to build houses right alongside their territory. In Chino Hills State Park, biologist Eric Dugan is working on what the snakes need from their habitat.
All right, we need to put these protective leggings on to make sure the snakes can't bite us. There's a lot of tall mustard plant out here where the snakes are hiding. All right, hey, Eric.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Thanks for having us out here.
Nice to see you, Ben. I got a couple of animals up here on top of this hill, on the other side of this ridge. What I'll do is I will go find a couple of them, and when I get near them, I'll give you guys a shout.
Cool.
How's that sound?
Sounds
All right.
great.
See you guys in a bit.
All right.
Like Mike Cardwell, Eric has radio transmitters, which tell him how far the snakes move and allow him to catch them for sampling.
So tell you you're from the city, huh?
Yeah, I grew up in Los Angeles. I feel a little bit like those take a disadvantaged kid out to the country dates sort of a thing.
Yeah, well, this is snake country. There's lots of Southern Pacifics out here, red diamonds. And it's perfect habitat for them, you know? They got lots of small rodents to eat, lots of sun, and no people.
Right.
Which is snake's favorite environment.
Understanding the snakes can help Sean save lives, but the work is just starting. Right now, no one can tell how much space the snakes need, whether the population's changing, or whether they're likely to move into human areas. Without that data, this conflict simply can't be controlled.
Now, Southern Pacific is what bit Nile, right?
Exactly. And Niall's parents' house is right up against this state park right here.
Eric keeps notes on every snake, catching, checking, then releasing them back into their territory to follow their growth and movement.
Hey guys, got new roober.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's one of the males that I had actually marked over another hillside.
Huh. Oh, it's got some good
big
color.
Guy.
Now, what kind of snake is this?
It's the red diamond rattlesnake.
Okay.
Cordylus ruber. This is the recapture mark and study that I'm doing on top of the telemetry.
Can you tell how old it is?
Not directly. This is a fairly large snake. I mean, he's definitely older than 5-6 years, I would imagine.
Are their diets the same? And how do they live together so closely?
That's one of the things I'm examining in my research is diet to see if they are eating the same things or if there is a difference.
I mean, there's not many places where these species overlap so closely, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I took up this research is because, you know, there are good numbers of both these animals here. Well, I'm done collecting my data on this guy. I'm gonna let him go now.
This data is a vital first step in understanding the snake frontline and protecting kids like Nile. This summer, science has got a long way to go. The snake's home territory is a few hundred square yards, but it's just a mile away from the driveway where Nile was bitten. As well as the doctors, the local TV news is here. Nile's case has made it into the evening report, but Sean is more interested in the patient.
Perfect recovery. Good job. Hey, you look great. Can you squeeze it? Can you squeeze my finger? Wow, that's incredible.
What did you do initially when you realized your child had been bitten?
Well, when initially he got bitten, I did not know he got bitten. So I kind of had him like this. I went back to the garage. And
now there are more stories coming from the front line, and more victims will be heading into the VenomER. One survivor is Ralph Prado. He's never seen just what the venom did to his body.
Keep treating him aggressively.
But he'll face that reality when VenomER returns, only on Animal Planet.
You just take one bite. Hey, Ralph.
Hey,
how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Ralph Prado, Sean's toughest case to date, came very close to death.
There you go.
Now he's healthy again. He wants to see exactly what happened to him.
All right. Now, this is when you first came in. It's up in the ICU.
I'm still fighting the venom.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't know my hand got that big. Oh, man.
You don't even look at the same person, do you?
No.
You're all kind of swollen up and everything?
I don't recall anything of this. Did I bleed into my mouth?
Yeah, you're bleeding
And the
from
nose?
You're bleeding from your mouth and your nose and everywhere where you have a puncture site, you're bleeding. It's because your blood wouldn't clot right.
What is that's the reaction of the venom on my body?
Yeah, you see how your muscles are twitching there? That's what the Southern Pacific rattlesnake venom causes. And you twitched like that for 5 days.
5 days? I cannot believe, I was twitching that bad,
Yeah, and that's why we had to restrain you, is because you were bleeding, you were twitching and moving all over, and we just didn't want you to hurt yourself.
You don't want to tell me they gave me 58 vials of anti-venom.
Yeah.
And it never been done before, right?
That's a world record dose of anti-venom.
Is it?
We just didn't really know when to stop giving it to you because you kept having all these symptoms and nothing was getting better, so we just kept giving it and giving it.
Well, I'm trying to fight that. I mean, probably unconsciously, I tried to fight the venom all the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna give up, you know.
Yeah, and I truly believe that just a part of your spirit just kind of helps you to fight this off. I mean, I do believe it's a miracle of modern medicine that you survived and got function in your finger, but I also think that it's just a testament of your strong will, honestly. Well, it's pretty disturbing to watch that footage, but you survived and you did well, and I'm glad about that. Now, I saved something for you. I thought you might like the rattle from the actual snake that bit you.
This is the one that bit me, huh? Wow. Basically, I'm a fighter, you know. But I'm still here because of you, and thank you for saving my life.
My pleasure.
I hope never see you again, though.
In Loma Linda, it's good to be a fighter because the enemy is venom, designed by nature to exploit any weakness. And Sean's team must stay one step ahead of it to defend the venom front line.